Welcome to What a Creep, the show with Margot Donohue and Sonia Mansfield talking about creeps from the past to the present.
This is your quick guide to the biggest creeps, jerks, assholes, and losers, the best of the worst.
From two nice ladies who want the world to be a little less creepy. Welcome back to What a Creep. This is Margot Donohue, and my cohort in creepitude, as always, is the amazing Sonia Mansfield. Hey, Sonia.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. We are the podcast that talks about creeps from the past to the present. We want to give a special thank you to Adam and Rob at F This Movie Reserved Seating. It was a YouTube show that we did.
It was so fun.
Oh, my God. If you want to know what we look like, you want to just see us talking about movies, go check that out. It came out really great.
Yeah, it was so fun.
And just to give you background, we do, for our social media, we do have a basic Facebook page, but we never use it because that's where people go to complain about our language. I have a feeling we're going to use a lot of salty language today for this episode.
Fuck yeah, I am.
So if you want to interact with us, the best way to do it is probably in our Facebook group. That's where we both go. And you have to type in What a Creep podcast group, have to answer a couple of questions. Just do the best you can and just promise not to be an asshole when you're in here. We're on Twitter at CreepPod because somebody had Twitter for 10 years on Twitter. Yes, we do dead name it. Over 10 years, and they never used it.
Creep.
But everywhere else, it's What a Creep podcast, and that means Threads and Blue Sky and Instagram. We have an old-timey email, whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. Send us your suggestions for creeps, but also, in case you didn't know, we end each episode with a non-creep. So we love your suggestions for non-creeps. We do kind of keep track of these things. Also stickers, man. Who doesn't like stickers? I just dropped some off in the mail for somebody. We have some stickers. Y'all want some? Send us your address and we will drop them in the mail for you. Sonia, do you want to tell them about the website?
Yeah, go to whatacreeppodcast.com and it's everything you wanted to know about our show, but we're afraid to ask. There are links to all of our past episodes, and in each of those posts are show notes because we source every single thing we do. We're not making this stuff up. If you're looking to do a deeper dive on any of our creeps, that's a fabulous place to start. There's also a link to our Substack where I put out a monthly newsletter ranting about things in the news. You can also go to our merch shop and get t-shirts and tote bags and face masks and journals and all kinds of awesome stuff with our logo on it and some other rando designs that we've put in there. And there's a link to our Patreon. You want to tell them about that, Margot?
Yes, Patreon. If you want to support our show, we have our first 8 seasons up on that Patreon wall. Plus, we put out 8 seasons, and we put out 2 bonus episodes a month. That's where Sonia and I do lots of mini creeps. We talk about creeps in the news and really shoot the shit there. We have a lot of fun. Those are what you get for signing up for Patreon. We really appreciate all of you that support us.
Yes.
Y'all are the best. But if you want to figure out other ways to support us, we won't be mad at you. You could leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. For example, in Apple Podcasts, you could leave us 5 stars in a review, or Spotify. Yay. And I wish I have to remember to write down your names when you do it through Spotify, because Spotify actually lets us publish it. They're like, oh, we publish this? And I'm like, yeah. And then I forget to look up the name and then I can't find it. So anyway, oops. But please, if you do like us on Spotify, that would be amazing. Good Pods, wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, helps us find our people.
Exactly. Or just, put a sticker on your laptop, go to the coffee shop, look really cool, and tell a friend.
Yeah. Or don't look cool, whatever you want.
We don't care.
You do you, boo.
Who are we to judge? We don't. Okay, Sonia.
Who am I to judge what's cool? Not me.
I've watched every single episode of Real Housewives of New Jersey. I cannot act all highfalutin about nothing. All right, Sonia.
Yeah.
Who or what are we talking about today?
We are going to be talking about the account Libs of TikTok. It's actually a person named, I wrote it down phonetically here for myself, Chaya, Raichik. Yes, that's right. Raichik. I got it right. That's who we're going to be talking about. I'm going to give you some trigger warnings here. Homophobia, transphobia, and book banning. Boo, book banning. Sources
all
for
of
this,
that.
all of it. Sources for this episode: Advocate, Business Insider, The Daily Beast, NBC News. Vice, Washington Post, Wonkette, one of my favorite little snarky news sites, and Wikipedia. Libs of TikTok, it's not just on TikTok, just so you know, is a far-right social media account run by Chaya Raichik. Basically, the whole shtick is it reposts content created by other people, like mainly left-wing and people of the gay community, and it reposts it with like hateful commentary. Basically,
Awesome.
that's their thing. Her followers on X have skyrocketed. She had like 60,000 followers in July 2021. She's up to almost 3 million now.
Oh, wow.
On Twitter. Yeah. And she's done it largely, again, by targeting the LGBTQ plus community. I'd love to say, who cares? Who cares about this bitch and her social media troll account? Except this account is actively hurting people. It's putting people in danger. And she was recently appointed to the Oklahoma Library Media Advisory Committee. FYI, yeah, she doesn't live there. She doesn't live in Oklahoma, but she's going to start getting a say in like what books can be in the public libraries. She doesn't live there. She lives in California, where she's registered to vote, and she also has a place in Florida. Surprise. She's been to Oklahoma like one time, but she's having like an oversized influence there. As Libs of TikTok, she has been blamed for sparking bomb threats, property damage, shooting threats, written and verbal harassment, and other forms of violence against individuals, hospitals, and schools across the country. The content is posted on the account. It's funneled directly into things like Fox News, The Federalist, Newsmax. It just generates more outrage. It stokes more hatred toward the gay and transgender community. Ari Brennan from the media watchdog group Media Matters said this thing recently that I think sums this up very well. Libs of TikTok is basically acting like a wire service for the broader right-wing media ecosystem. It's been shaping public policy in a very real way, and it's impacting teachers' ability to feel safe in their classrooms.
Oh, God.
She's a creep, and her account is garbage. So let's talk about it. And we'll start at the beginning. Before her rise to online fame, Raichik worked as a real estate salesperson in Brooklyn. She probably wasn't very good at it.
My neighborhood.
Yeah. So between November 2020 and April 2021, she tried really hard to develop these other like social media accounts. She had one called Cuomo Must Go. Yeah. She also had one where she
support that one.
She had one called like Houseplant POT. Basically, I'm not even going to share the whole name. Anyway, she pretended to be a houseplant in the White House. Whatever. Sounds stupid.
Eavesdropping on Biden?
I guess so, yeah.
Oy.
It was just, these accounts were like your typical idiotic bullshit, right? It's like COVID denial, fake stories about child sex trafficking. The 2020 election was rigged. The typical shit. She attended the January 6th insurrection. There's all kinds of footage of her doing that. On April 19th, 2021, she changed her handle to Libs of TikTok and said it was like your daily dose of cringe. And that's when she started reposting content from TikTok users, again, mostly people from the gay community, and mocked them in the captions. So, like, here's a good example of what she does on this account. There's this school bus driver in Pittsburgh. She posted a video where she had ordered some stickers for her school bus. It says, it's like, this is a safe space. All humans are beautiful. Love always wins, and she's like, I got new stickers. And she posts it on Facebook, with a little smiley face emoji. And it's like, I'm going to get magnets and I'm going to put them all over the bus. Libs of TikTok takes this post, and writes, "Meet Erica, a school bus driver. She's covering her school bus, which she uses to transport young children with trans propaganda. Why would a school bus have signs promoting the sexualization of children?" Within 24 hours, Erica was swarmed with online harassment. All these people were like calling her a groomer. They were trying to actively get her fired. And she almost lost her job.
Jesus.
She just put up some fucking cute stickers in her school bus. That's all she did. And this woman was harassed all over the internet and almost lost her job. On top of all of this, she received a handwritten birthday card to her home address calling her a Satanist.
The bus driver.
Yes.
To her home address.
Home address. Yes. It's really scary. Again, these are just teachers. These are just school administrators. They're just trying to do their job. This person, she wasn't doing anything bananas. She literally put some stickers up in her bus. This is the kind of thing this account does. Libs of TikTok found a lot of supporters with huge platforms, and that's how the I hate even saying fan base. That's how it grew from there. So it's like Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, Donald Trump Jr. It's the who's who of who sucks the most. Meghan McCain, who you guys may not know this, she's Senator John McCain's daughter. I bet you didn't know that. What? Laura Ingraham, whatever. Like all these gross people. Raichik ran this account anonymously for about a year or so, and then the Washington Post did a story on the account, and they were quite easy. It was very easy to figure out who was running this account. They just found it by seeing who bought the URL. You could find out who she was publicly very easily. And she was like, "I was doxxed, bitch. You were not." You could just find it. After she did that interview with the Washington Post, she then goes on Tucker Carlson show, showing her hateful face and vowing to do more in-person events. So gross. After that interview, Governor Ron DeSantis from Florida, his team contacted her and was like, "If you don't feel safe, you're welcome to come stay in the governor's mansion." Poor thing. So sad. What's it like to get hateful shit on the internet? Let's ask Erica. What a bitch. Anyway. Eventually, Libs of TikTok got some funding from Seth Dillon. He's the founder of the Babylon Bee, which is what they think is the conservative version of The Onion.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It is.
It's not.
The most. Talk about your daily dose of cringe. It is so unfunny because it's just... it just states the obvious thing. There's nothing funny about it. It's punching down, which is not funny.
They think they're being like a Stephen Colbert kind of thing. And and it's just lame.
It is such a fucking fail. So because she got funding from that, she was able to leave her real estate career and could focus full time on committing hate crimes and endangering the lives of people. Feel free to go to her LinkedIn page, y'all, and endorse her for those skills. So here's a list of things that Libs of TikTok have done. She has advocated that any teacher who comes out as gay to their students be fired on the spot.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Yeah, we're back to the 70s. We're back to some Anita Bryant shit. We did a whole episode on her. You can go back and listen. She's called on her followers to contact schools that were allowing boys in the girls' bathroom. This is the whole trans people trying to just fucking use the bathroom.
Let's attack children trying to urinate or defecate.
Yeah, none of these things are it's so stupid. She also is the one who pushed that false story that children were identifying as cats and therefore they had to put litter boxes,
kitty litter boxes in there, and Joe
Rogan
repeated
not a
that.
Thing.
And yes, I know.
This is not a thing. This is never happened in the history of the world. It is so fucking stupid. And the fact that they would believe it says everything about them. Like, ugh. She says any adults who teach children about LGBTQ plus identities is being abusive. Anybody who like identifies as gender conforming has a mental illness. She's referred to schools as government-run indoctrination camps. All the stupid shit.
Wow.
It's just all the stupid. In June 2022, Libs of TikTok actually had some of their tweets like removed. Do you know how hateful you have to be to have tweets removed now? After they posted locations of drag-focused events in the United States. One of those events is in San Lorenzo, California. It was stormed by Proud Boys. After they posted it, Proud Boys, if you don't know, is like a white supremacist, like extremist group. Pride events in Dallas and Idaho were also targeted after being listed in the Libs of TikTok account. One of them, the one in Idaho, actually had 31 people from Patriot Front. That's an American white supremacist and neo-fascist hate group. Yay! Showing up. A lot of them were arrested. They were there to like do harm.
Yeah.
It's really fucking scary. In August 2022, Libs of TikTok falsely posted information saying that gender-affirming hysterectomies were being performed on minors at the Boston's Children's Hospital. Not happening. That's not a thing that happens. That hospital received bomb threats. By the way, again, nobody under 18 is receiving hysterectomies. That's not a thing that's happening. It's just trying to scare people. Libs of TikTok videos are always being picked up and run by Russian disinformation networks. So, you're doing something right when you get Putin telling you you're doing a good job. Fuck. Remember when we could all agree that Putin was bad?
Remember that?
Ugh. So teachers who support like gay students, LGBTQ plus students are the most frequent targets on this account.
Tolerant people who are teaching our children and doing a solid for the rest of us.
Yes.
Raising good humans.
They're such good humans. They're underpaid. They are under so much underappreciated, and now we have to deal with this kind of bullshit.
And we have a lot of them, and they teachers in our Facebook group, and they ask for help, for their classes, and we're absolutely happy to do it. But they have to fight for things sometimes, like construction paper, or whatever. I mean, puzzles.
Yes. The people who are losing their shit over things that Libs of TikTok posts are focused on the wrong thing. Like, this is not a problem. Like, teachers are not indoctrinating kids with and turning them gay. This is not a thing that is happening. What is happening are these schools are severely underfunded, teachers are underpaid, and kids are slipping through the cracks. They're not learning. That's the real problem. But we don't want to that problem's hard, and we don't want to think about that. Instead, we want to focus on culture war bullshit.
Right.
And that's what this is.
When you and I were growing up, we grew up in the both different coasts, but we're like suburban kids. And they did not have any gay history in my classes.
No.
And it was not taught in sex ed. It wasn't taught anywhere. And there were lots of gay kids in my school.
Yeah. I grew up in the Bay Area.
Right. Well, I grew up in New York, sure. But they're everywhere. It doesn't, you can't just teach a person to be gay. Like you can't teach them. You would think that they would turn straight because they were given so much heterosexual dogma. And it's just not a thing that happens. And they're very, the suicide rate and the self-harm rate for kids that are, on the margins or feel marginalized. It's just they're so vulnerable.
It's awful.
And school should be a place where that, like, at least they feel safe, you know?
Yes.
And it's like, maybe you're scared of other kids, but the whole system just thinks you're evil and wrong.
Yes.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Well, you know, we have friends that grew up with that shit.
Yeah. Like when I was a kid, I did get bullied. I was bullied by other kids. Like, throw on top of that, your teachers are supposed to bully you now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the fact that they want schools to just bully, they want the whole administration to bully these kids. They want parents to bully these kids is unfucking believable to me. Like, these people, they just don't care. They don't care.
No, and it's just focused on the wrong things.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there is a problem with teachers having sex with students, but it's like older teenagers, and it's not good, by the way.
Yeah.
That is an issue, but there's a bigger issue with people who are coaches, people who are volunteers around the kids.
Yes.
They're the real problem, not the person just trying to teach them basic math and some life skills so they can get a goddamn job when they get out.
Yeah. Most of the grooming that happens in school, let's say there is grooming, because there is. It's not gay people that are doing it. No. I've heard of many a teacher. Let me rephrase that. That makes it sound like a lot of teachers. I have heard the stories of the male teacher and the female student.
Yeah. He's like 10 years older than her, 12 years older than her. And sometimes sometimes that's how people meet and they're happy and blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of like some weird shit going on. And it's not, no. That's also like the patriarchy and misogyny and all that other stuff.
Yes.
Girls are raised to just be polite and laugh at the jokes, even if they're stupid. And
all those things.
If you're not like super nice to the teacher, then he's going to give you a harder time and not going to, it hurts your grade if you're not pleasant.
Yeah. Also, she doesn't care. This woman does not care.
No. Does she have kids?
This is her job. Maybe she has kids. I didn't see any existence of children. This is her job. This is how she makes her money. She doesn't care. Like, it's the same thing with what we're seeing in our government right now. These people don't care. They have no interest in like public service or governing. This is their job, and how they make their money now is being hateful and hurting people.
Or just contrary to like, what does that person think? Well, I'm going to think the opposite.
Yes.
Like the Republican rebuttal last night.
Yes. Oh my God.
When she was talking about the border, and it's like, there was a bipartisan border bill.
Yeah. That she wrote.
That, And then Trump said, if you say yes to that, I'm not gonna like you when I become president. So then they back off again. And it's like, well, this country's fucked.
Oh my God, one more thing about that she gave the rebuttal from her kitchen.
With the bar, like a literally, like, what do they call that voice, that like very passive.
Yeah.
Because everybody made fun of Hillary Clinton's voice, Michelle Obama's voice. Like, they just want something childlike and quiet in the kitchen where she's baking those cookies.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't have an office where she works from?
No. Because she belongs in the kitchen, Margot. She belongs in the kitchen like the rest of us. Fuck that bitch.
Barefoot and pregnant.
Yep. All right. So.
Sorry. We needed a little side session there.
No. Again, teachers are the main target by this account. Between January and April 2022, that account named and tagged over 200 schools and teachers, and almost all of them received hundreds or even thousands of threats. Because of Libs of TikTok, parents of LGBTQ plus students have been driven out of their towns.
Yep.
Local school board members have reported death threats. On November 20th, 2022, there was because we love it here in America, another mass shooting. There was a mass shooting at a gay club in Colorado Springs. And like right after that, she went to the Twitter account and started posting other drag shows in the area. Like, and tagged like 2 Colorado state legislators, one of whom was also trans, for supporting it. She's basically telling people, go here, do more. Go get them. Garbage.
Garbage.
There have been 33 instances of bomb threats against organizations that have been tagged by Libs of TikTok. Let's see. In a podcast interview about the violence, she says she's proud of it. She says she likes being someone who inspires supporters to commit violence. She's like, it makes me feel really important.
Stop it.
That's what she said. Honestly, that makes me feel really important. It's a quote.
So it's a self-esteem issue.
I guess so. Show notes, y'all. They're in there. If you don't believe me,
exactly.
Go find it.
Swipe the artwork.
Yes.
Boom, right there.
Yes. She loves to, by the way, in these interviews, like promote this like lie that like left-wing people are like doctors, teachers, librarians. We're all like infiltrating schools and we're trying to like turn kids gay and trans, and that we love to sexualize children. And it also goes to show you that she thinks just because a kid is gay or trans or whatever, that is sexualizing them. It's not. That's just who they are.
Right.
Just like I'm a woman. Just like this, like my son is a boy. Like that doesn't mean I'm sexualizing. We're not sexualizing them. We're not teaching them how to fuck. We're just telling them.
There's a spectrum of people.
Yes. She loves to she goes on like Fox and Friends and says like every single day, in America, our children are under attack, especially, specifically in the school system. And that's what I seek to expose every single day. By the way, that's just how I imagine she sounds. I don't listen to her. She's gross, but why do these far left activists in our schools want our kids to read porn so badly? These books are not porn. Oh, she's such a stupid bitch.
No, did you see the Moms of Liberty on 60 Minutes?
Yes, it was the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, the same thing, but they're obsessed with like schools that have any books that have any even hint of sex in them. And it's like kids, when they go through puberty, have hormones. Like there's, it's a part of life. There's a way to teach them.
Yes. No, it's just...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it makes me so angry. She doesn't just like to ban books, though. She likes to write them, too.
Sure.
She wrote a children's book called No More Secrets, The Candy Cavern.
Now, that sounds pervy.
Mm-hmm. It's about a little lamb named Rose who becomes suspicious when her second grade teacher focuses more on candy than education. And I didn't read the book because but it's designed to help it's supposed to help children identify grooming by LGBTQ plus teachers. I don't know if it's any good.
But also you don't take candy from strangers. By the way, Strangers with Candy was like the best show ever, but I mean, we were taught that when we were little kids, but it's just in case y'all don't know, like the groomers will do things like they will become indispensable to the family. They're the ones that'll give you a lift when, you instead of having to take the bus, they'll help you with the electric bill. They'll meet you at church. Like they ingratiate themselves. They don't just hand you a Mars bar and says, hey, touch my dick.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work like that.
No, here's a Mars bar, touch my dick.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's not like that. It's like the grooming is next level. It's like, oh, just don't take candy from strangers. Like, all right, but they don't walk around just handing it's other stuff that they're offering compliments.
Yes.
They seek the kid that seems to be shy, the kid that seems to be, not have a great home life, lonesome. Right. Those are the things they look for. So teaching kids to stick up for themselves and not touch dicks attached to Mars bars. Please don't do that.
I haven't read the book. I'll wait for the movie.
Over 18, you do what you want, by the way.
Yeah. I'm just going to wait for the movie, which I also won't see, but I'll read the bad review in Vulture when that comes out. That's what I'm waiting for. So Libs of TikTok has had a really big influence in Florida. Tucker Carlson has said that Libs of TikTok is partly responsible for Florida's don't say gay bill because of all the good job.
Good job.
Libs of TikTok is also like one of the top 10 most influential Twitter accounts that promotes the use of the term groomer.
Hey.
Fuck these people.
But they say that about anybody who's gay, by the way.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes. That's their thing now. It's the equivalent of like, okay boomer, but it's okay groomer. That's it now. Everyone's a groomer. You're all a groomer.
And it's also to funnel money away from public education into private schools that are for profit and don't exactly don't get me started.
Yes, please go all the way back and listen to our epic Betsy DeVos episode if you want to know more about the public to private school shenanigans that are happening. So she's having the most influence in Oklahoma. That's her.
I know people from Oklahoma too. There's some great people.
Yeah. Didn't Oklahoma just like enshrine abortion rights or something? They just voted in a very big way.
Yeah. One of my good friends is a Sooner and from OU, and there's some fabulous people.
Yeah. I know that there are, by the way, I'm not shitting on people in Oklahoma. I have read that people in Oklahoma are pushing back. They are pushing back. And it sucks that there are people in leadership who don't give a fuck about what these voters think. So in Oklahoma, she has been blamed by gay rights. She's been blamed by gay rights advocates she's been driving teachers away from there. So like they're struggling to like actually get teachers there because teachers are like, fuck this. And they're leaving. Yeah. They're leaving. So they're having a hard time. Let's see. A lot of teachers there talking about death threats and harassment. In April 2022, she reposted a video of students, like a teacher in 8th grade saying that if your parents don't accept you, fuck them. Like, I support you and drink some water. I love you. That's what the teacher said. And then Libs of TikTok got a hold of the video, reposted it. Next thing you know, the teacher had to resign. She's getting death threats, like all the stuff. It's so awful. There's another one where she went after a school librarian in Tulsa, said that teachers in your state are, dropping like flies, but you're like pushing your woke agenda and all this bullshit. That school received a bomb threat because of this. She doesn't live in the state, but the state superintendent, this man named Ryan Walters, has appointed her as an advisor to the Oklahoma Library Board. So she has a say in like what books stay and which ones go and all of that. And here's his statement. He said that she's on the front line showing the world exactly what the radical left is all about. When people say radical left, red flag. Yeah. What the radical left is all about: lowering standards, porn in schools, and pushing woke indoctrination on our kids. Because of her work, families across the country know just what's going on in schools around the country. Like, it's just all, again, these are not things that people care about. If you watch the 60 Minutes thing that Margot and I were just talking about the Moms for Liberty, almost all schools have a permission slip that you can fill out where you can say, my kid can't check out certain kinds of books without my approval. Yeah. There's your fucking parental right. That's your parental right. But they don't want to do that. They want to decide for all parents what their kids can and can't read. And that's what she's doing. She's trying to pull any books that depict gay or transgender people, anything with sex education, because heaven forbid anybody would learn anything. You have
a body. It's going to go through puberty. It's going to go through stuff. You have to learn about it.
Yes. Yes, but they don't want you to. They claim, by the way, she claims that these books are porn, quote unquote.
Wonder what her sex life is like.
Oh my God. And all of this is like she is throwing fuel on the fire there of anger towards like lesbian, gay, transgender, non-binary people. And most recently, like a 16-year-old non-binary student was bullied, like beat up in the bathroom. Their name was Next Benedict. The next day, Benedict collapsed and died. We're talking about a 16-year-old died a day after bullying in the bathroom. And they're just like, I'm sure it's not related. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. And this bitch has blood on her hands, but she don't give a fuck. Just a few days ago, I mean, I went in today and like updated this again this morning before we started recording. Like, Libs of TikTok posted some video about a LGBTQ plus community center in Pennsylvania, and then Congress dropped their funding for it. Yep. Another Texas teacher like dressed up on Valentine's Day. You were supposed to like dress up, and it's a male teacher, and he wore like a big pink dress and a hat. And Libs of TikTok got the video of it, posted it. Teacher resigned because of all the harassment.
God forbid he has fun.
He was just having some fun.
Yeah.
He's not. He was just wearing a dress.
For 30 years ago, Kurt Cobain wore a dress like while he played. It was the whole point was to make like what's the big Iggy Pop wore dresses, and they say, why are you wearing dresses? It's like, because I don't think there's anything wrong with being a woman. I don't think, you know what I mean? Like there's just, it's just expression. It's just what the fuck.
And here's the thing. I have a 12-year-old son. I have nieces that are, you know, in high school right now. My oldest niece is now 21. They don't think about it the way we do.
No, they do not.
They don't give a shit about any of this stuff. When they care about this shit, it's because they have parents that are like, this is a big deal. It's not a big deal. Who cares? Who cares if a teacher wants to wear a dress on dress up day?
On dress up day. It's obviously a costume, for Pete's sakes. I mean, have some fun. God forbid school's fun for like 5 minutes one day.
Like, who the fuck cares?
Because all these standardized tests and everything else that kids have to go through after being through COVID and learning from home for over a year. Like, we have enough things for kids to deal with.
Yes.
And then we're just the land of the free, by the way.
Yeah. All of this stuff that we talk about when it comes to like racism, sexism, homophobia, all this stuff. First of all, it's about power, right? But it's also about like distracting us from the shit that actually really matters. This is like culture war bullshit. They don't want us paying attention to the real shit. Like, who cares about this stuff? But it's destroying people's lives, and people are dying.
Yeah.
It's a big fucking deal. Stop doing it, but they don't care.
We need more teachers.
More teachers. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Everywhere is like teachers are leaving because the shit's not worth it.
It's what a couple of years ago it was like having health administrators, like state health people being in charge. And then they were scared out of office. Their homes were doxxed here in America. Yeah. And you have to worry about that shit because people have guns here.
Yeah. Well, and that's what these groups want. They want teachers to leave because they want you to go to a private school so that those people can make money. There's no money for them to be made in public education.
Right.
Like, it's about money, as most things are. It's fucked up. So I think Libs of TikTok is a fucking hate account. And I can't comprehend that it's an active social media account. It rarely gets suspended. It was suspended for a few hours once on Instagram. Ooh. And then a Meta spokesman came out and said that it was just responding to some copyright complaints and then put the count right back up. Again, this is a fucking hate account. Fuck this. The Facebook account got kicked off too, and then it was up in less than a day. It's been banned from, I think it's actually banned from TikTok.
I was just going to say, is it on TikTok?
I think TikTok is the one account that it's actually gotten kicked off of, which, funny enough, is the one account that our Congress seems obsessed with banning. Very
just when I'm starting to get into it, by the way.
Yeah. I'm like, you, much like guns, you know, how they're all like, you'll take them from my cold, dead hands. That's what you'll do with me in TikTok.
And we need to say, like, in America, your kids are most likely to die by being shot.
Yes.
Than any of these other things that they want us to worry about, which is they're okay with them active shooter drills and like making that a part of their childhood.
Yes. They are more concerned with this idea of like how somehow we're turning kids gay and trans, but they don't give a shit about people who go in and kill like 20 kids with a gun. Don't look over there. Don't look over there. Look over here. Like it's what was I going to say? Libs of TikTok also has like an active like Shopify account. You know, you can like buy things and the money goes to TikTok, goes to Libs of TikTok or like their merch. People have been trying to get it kicked off of Shopify, but Shopify says that we host businesses of all stripes and sizes with various worldviews. This is not an appropriate worldview. Like, as we have said before, and here's where I'm going to end it, being racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, this isn't a difference of opinion. You're wrong.
That shit's wrong.
It's fucking wrong. This isn't, well, we'll just have to agree to disagree. Fuck no, no. You're wrong. You're just wrong. So seriously, fuck this account. Fuck this person. That's our creep.
Good job, Sonia.
Grr!
I know.
Glad to have this one off my plate.
Well, you did excellent work there. I don't know if I could have handled that. Are you ready to like hear about somebody who's not a creep? And I say this.
Please.
Hold on a second. Let me just get this back to where it was. I'm saying this is that sometimes we find somebody modern and we put them and then a few months later.
This has happened a few times to
we
us.
get DMs like, you probably didn't want to mention that one because blah, blah, blah. And then a story comes out later. So like, we're not perfect, you know. But I wanted to do something just a little unusual.
Okay.
So Sonia, what do you know about Jesse Eisenberg?
I know he played Mark Zuckerberg in The Social Network, and he was in Fleshman's in Trouble.
Yes. And The Squid and the Whale.
Yes.
Which is a real bummer of a movie.
Yeah, not a laugh riot, that one.
And he was Lex Luthor.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He was
okay,
Lex Luthor.
I know. Yes.
He was born in New York City, 1983. He's 40 years old. He's married to Anna Strout. They've been married since 2017, and they have a child together. And his sister is Haley Eisenberg, who was a child star. Jesse is actually a pretty cool guy. I started reading about him during COVID, the early parts of COVID. He and his wife is from the Midwest, Bloomington, Indiana, or she's like from Indiana. And they were driving cross country because they couldn't take a plane, and they decided like we're going to be wherever we're going to go, we're going to be there for like a year or two, probably. They knew pretty quickly. So they take this RV and they drive to Bloomington, Indiana, and they just kind of settle down. And Jesse's mother-in-law, his wife's mother, started ran a women's shelter. And it's like a halfway house. It's a place. It's a safe house for people to go to. People that are under threat of domestic violence, mainly women. And he started volunteering there like 4 or 5 days a week.
Oh, wow.
And he raised money for them. He's very, very socially conscious. And he kind of began this way. His mother, when he was young, both of his parents had like a bunch of different jobs, but they eventually became teachers. One of her first jobs, she was a clown at kids' parties. and she would play the guitar, and she had a whole thing where she could sing like a duck. Like she had a whole thing, right? He said that the days that she would do that, she'd be home rehearsing. Like she got it perfectly down. And that kind of taught him, like, whatever you do, do it at your best. And everything has dignity. Work has dignity. And what she was doing, and so she was teaching him. We were looking up he's a vegan. He says 95% vegan. So I
hear that.
He loves cats. He is all about taking care of cats.
No.
He talks openly about his struggle with OCD and anxiety growing up. So he wants to put that out there, like,
those stories help people.
They absolutely help people. He is associated with Farm Sanctuary.
I love Farm Sanctuary. I donate to them all the time.
In 2015, he started matching donations made to Middle Way House, which is the domestic violence house I was talking about in Bloomington, Indiana. And they raised up $100,000 within a few months. He got his Hollywood friends to come in. And they have several shelters around that area that's just to help people who are victims of domestic violence or who are spreading the message about that. He's run a nonprofit theater for people.
Oh.
He had he participated in the inaugural 24-hour musicals Los Angeles, which is a whole thing about students and other people, just raising people to take an interest in the arts and take interest in theater as a way, to express yourself, but also you could make a living working behind the scenes and things like that. He also was a part of the People's Summit, a 3-day conference of 4,000 left-wing activists like Howard Zinn and people like that. So that
sounds like an indoctrination camp to me.
Yes, exactly. He's just a really nice guy. He seems to just be genuinely interested in helping. He does like Dramatic Guild of America. He's worked with them. He's done Urban Artist Program. He's just seems like a really nice, sweet
awesome
guy that like I said, during COVID, during lockdown, just volunteered to work at these places and not looking for
awesome.
like all kinds of like publicity or others like some people are.
Well, and that's when there's a lot of people that needed that so much during COVID because they were being trapped in their house with their abuser.
Yes. And that was his point. Yeah. It's the kind of place, he said, it was during that time. It's the place where residents could go through and you could even end up working there if you needed that. And it literally saved lives.
Yes.
He raised over almost $1 million for the shelter. That's the most updated number.
That's awesome.
But he's a part of a bunch of like nonprofits, but it's all about helping people. He's very much into getting his hands dirty, I guess, rolling up his sleeves and being a part of like little bits of change that you could do everywhere. So
I love this. I did not know this.
Not creep this week. I just was reading about him today and learning about him. And he just seems like really sweet and really cool. And he's, Farm Sanctuary,
my fave.
Rescue Animals,
love,
New Yorker, Dad.
Also love.
All
Those
around.
are all good things.
All good things.
Margot.
Yeah, so that's why I picked it, because I just wanted somebody, because we're also lefties. We're also kind of like, we're sort of labeled as effete, and we just sort of sit around and expound on things. We don't like to get...
Yeah, we're not going to do anything.
We're not going to do anything.
Though.
And this is the guy that like actually did something and does do things. And,
nice.
And he could be a jackass like other people in Hollywood. But that's not his thing, is it?
That's right.
Well...
Good job.
Thank you. Okay, everybody, that's our show today. If you like the sound of our voices, hopefully you do. We also co-host a show called Dorking Out, where we dork out about movies, which is why probably the real reason we were on F This Movie Reserve Seating, because we talked a lot about movies there. We just had Adam Risky on, where we talked about Jerry Maguire and got a lot of feedback from that one.
Oh, funny. I laughed so hard I was crying, y'all. Margot and Adam were on fire.
We were gasping. We were like gasping for air. We were laughing so hard. So, Sonia, what are we covering next?
We're finally covering Serial Mom, the one that we had to postpone because I was traveling and then I got sick, etc., etc. But we are finally going to talk about Serial Mom. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be, I'm really looking forward to this rewatch.
It's one of my favorites.
That every time, right? It's going to be fun.
We had a lot of people respond to that. So that's what's coming up next. Please follow us in all those places I mentioned at the top of the show, especially for your suggestions. We love it when you use the Annie Potts gift. We got one from Ghostbusters, or just be clever, do something on your own. Our email, once again, is whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. Please leave, subscribe, and review, and tell a friend about the show. It helps us find our people. And Sonia, where can they find you?
You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show, the Sonia with an I, on all the social media channels. So the Twitter, the Blue Sky, Threads, TikTok, the Libs of TikTok. No, you can find... I'm on TikTok, Instagram. I don't go to my Facebook very often, but you can find me in our private Facebook group. Where can people find you, Margot?
I'm at Brooklyn Fitchick for Twitter. That's my site, and that's where I am for Threads and everything else. It's Brooklyn Margot, including my TikTok. So check it out sometime.
We're the Libs of TikTok.
We are Libs of TikTok. Yikes. All right, everybody, stay safe. Be kind. Don't be a creep.
Be a creep. Thank you for listening to us talk about creeps. You can follow us at What a Creep Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
But don't follow us too closely.
You can email us your creepy stories at whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com.
But please keep your dick pics to yourself.